Hi, so just a few early theories about this new Star Wars movie, The Rise of the Skywalker. I'm still very confused by this title, because for me, The Rise of the Skywalker was Luke Skywalker. We've already seen the Skywalker family rise. So I'm very confused by this. Now, what it could be is that this is actually Kylo Ren. So we're seeing the rise of Kylo Ren becoming a Skywalker. That's one theory, because we were told that Rey isn't a Skywalker unless she is, unless we're going to see the background and history of Rey as a Skywalker, and Kylo Ren was just lying to her to try and get her to fall in with what Kylo Ren wanted, which seems to be the most logical solution based on the role of Kylo Ren's character. But then Kylo Ren would be lying to her, but eventually Rey would find out anyway. But that aside, I'm still very confused by this. I don't understand it, because we've seen the rise of the Skywalker, which was Luke Skywalker, the rise of the Skywalker, but on top of that we were then told that the Skywalkers are going to die off. So we've had 9 movies, yet in the 9th movie we're going to see all of these stories in the 9 movies come together, where the Skywalker rises and then dies all in one movie. Very confusing picture. I'm very surprised by this title. I'm struggling to understand it. Another theory is that there's something going on in the background of this movie, where what Rey is essentially doing throughout this movie, she's protecting another family. So Rey is told that there's another Skywalker family somewhere, and that is from Princess Leia. So Princess Leia tells Rey that there are actually more Skywalkers somewhere. Rey goes and finds them for some reason and tries to protect them from Kylo Ren. But also Palpatine comes into this story at some point. We know that because you hear him talking at the end. So maybe Kylo Ren has to protect Rey from Palpatine, and this story is based on Kylo Ren joining the light side, and it's his journey to becoming a Skywalker. But that would make sense, because that goes against the concept of this trilogy. The trilogy is surrounded by Rey, and Rey is essentially like the new version of Luke Skywalker, which is completely fine. It's just that she's a Mary Sue, and she in this trailer she jumps over the X-wing as if she's a human cockroach. She can jump 30 foot in the air, which is just ridiculous. But that aside, so one theory is that it's actually the story of Kylo Ren. He is the rise of the Skywalker, because he also has Skywalker lineage, and it's his rise into becoming good. And perhaps Rey dies, and Kylo Ren, he carries on the lineage of the Skywalkers. But then we're also told that this is the end of the saga for the Skywalkers, or maybe that's false. Maybe they're trying to repair the damage of The Last Jedi. So it is very confusing. I just don't know what to make of it. When they saw the rise of the Skywalker, it sounds a complete contradiction. I'm feeling in some sort of dream world. I feel as if I'm asleep and I'm watching a dream. I don't know what you think. What do you think to this title? Because it doesn't make any sense. I'm struggling to understand how they can make this work logically. Because it's obviously not the rise of Luke Skywalker. He's actually dead. You hear him early on saying, "You're now the next generation, essentially. We've passed everything on to you." So one theory is that this is the rise of Luke. So just to clarify, there's 3 theories. One is that this is the rise of Rey as a Skywalker, and we find her lineage. So this movie reveals her lineage as a Skywalker, but then she dies, because we know that the Skywalkers die. The theory number 2 is that the rise of the Skywalker is actually Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren joins the light side and fights against Palpatine alongside Rey. Or theory number 3 is there's something else. There's like a new character, or the birth of a new child, and Rey is protecting a young mother who's given birth, and it's maybe like the portrayal of, dare I say it, birth of a new Jesus. This new baby is gonna be the future of the Skywalkers, and Rey has to protect the birth of this baby. And to have And what I'd like to see is more family, because The Last Jedi, I'm going to keep going back to it because it is just so significant. But the whole concept of The Last Jedi try to rip out family, and family is such it drives so much conflict, and conflict is the basis of all stories. That's why Godfather is such a great movie, because it's based on a family. They're not gangsters. It's a family that happen to be gangsters, and that's the secret as to why Godfather is such a great movie. And also Star Wars. Star Wars is such a great movies because it's based on a family. It's like the secret weapon that holds Star Wars together is that their families, their sisters, their children, their fathers. That's the secret glue of Star Wars, and that's the secret glue of Godfather, is that there's family connection, which drives conflict, and that drives the story forwards. If you rip out that family, which is what Rian Johnson tried to do, because he's got little man syndrome, and he's a very shallow little man, you take away the conflict, and all you have is just lightsaber battles between different characters, and it's boring. That's dull. It's rubbish. Nobody wants to watch that. What people want to watch is family members conflicting against each other. The father fighting the son, the sister not knowing she's the sister of the man in front of him who is his brother. That is far more interesting. It's far more layered. And that's the magic glue behind Star Wars. So what I'm hoping they'll do is bring in some of those more elements of the family. So it could be the rise of the Skywalkers that we've never seen. They bring these new characters. What I'm also going to say is there's no sign of the Knights of Ren, which is something that they may keep into the future, which I'd imagine they do. So maybe there's something there. Maybe the Knights of Ren will work on behalf of Kylo Ren. Maybe Kylo Ren will turn against the Knights of Ren because he understands it's his lineage as a Skywalker, and maybe Princess Leia dies, and that because in The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren didn't want to kill his mother. He had the chance to attack his mother, but he didn't. But in the rise of Skywalker, Princess Leia does die, and then that triggers Kylo Ren to evaluate his life, and that sends him into the good element of being a Skywalker. So maybe that's what this movie is about, but again, that doesn't really make sense because it's not based on the trilogy. It's incoherent based on the trilogy that's been left by the shambles of The Last Jedi. So that's why I'm very confused. I feel very confused. I feel like I'm in a dream state and I don't know what the hell's going on. If they based it on like this was like halfway time between what we've seen so far in the last 8 movies and another 8 movies, that would be exciting because it'd be like the dawn of a new era, and they're peeling back the early layers of a new realm of Star Wars. That could be quite exciting. But to call it the rise of Skywalker when we had the rise of the Skywalker nearly 40 years ago with Luke Skywalker, very confusing. So there's a few theories for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm struggling to understand what's happening. It's the rise of the Skywalker. Yeah, we already had the rise of the Skywalker, and yet we're told the Skywalker's going to die. So let me know what you think in the comments below. A few theories for you. What are your theories? What is the rise of the Skywalker? We see a rise, that suggests it's the growth. If it's Rey, then seeing her family is not that exciting. It's going to be her parents. Revealing her parents is not going to be that exciting unless there's a real twist to it. Unless her parents are obviously Skywalkers, but it's a new galaxy of Skywalkers. Very confusing. But it doesn't really sound that interesting, to be honest. It's back to front. I think they've made a real mess of this trilogy, to be honest, and I think that's what they think. They've realised they've made a real mess of this trilogy. They're going to try and patch it up, end it as best as possible, and move on and put it as a learning experience. And that's done by Kathleen Kennedy's identity politics. She wanted to use this as propaganda for feminism instead of making good movies and good stories with a solid plan. And they'll push this aside and they'll move on. And then 3 or 4 years from now, they'll launch a new trilogy, and that'll be the new Star Wars. So this trilogy has been a mistake. People make mistakes, and Kathleen Kennedy's probably going to earn tens, if not maybe, well, tens of millions of dollars from this trilogy as a producer, as the present Lucasfilm. Whether she makes $100 million, I very much doubt it, but it would be into the tens of millions of dollars that's slapped into her bank account, no doubt. But there's a few theories for you. What do you think? Leave your comments below. I'm confused. I feel like I'm in a dream state, because it doesn't make any logical sense to me. The rise of the Skywalker. So we're going to see the rise of the Skywalker, then we're going to see the death of the Skywalker. You might as well call the movie The Death of the Skywalker, because we've had 9 movies now, or 8 movies of Skywalkers. Now you're going to see the death of Skywalkers. So you might as well call it The Death of the Skywalkers, and this is how the Skywalkers die. Maybe that could be an alternative title. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and also like and subscribe.